All right, welcome everyone. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. We've got everybody joining. All right, I've got 11 on the dot, so let's get going. Hello, welcome. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. My name is Suzanne Carolyn. I'm the head of marketing communications here at NAIFA. And today I've got the joy of being able to go through the benefits of belonging, which, to be honest, is a long overdue webinar. I'm sure you know, we restructured the organization, went into effect January 1st of 2019. And since then, we have been steadily and busily building, adding new benefits, keeping some of the old ones, carrying them over, and then really starting to look to say, okay, what else do we need? Do you need? And how can we do that? So we should have had this probably back in 2020. That whole COVID thing happened. Luckily, that's over. And so now we're able to bring all of it together, nicely packaged up, and kind of just do a review of, are you taking advantage of everything that your membership affords you? And so today we are going to spend really probably the full hour, to be honest, because we have so much to really convey to you, and we want to take a little time to do it. And hopefully we do it in an enjoyable, informative way. And then again, please feel free to use the chat and ask any questions. You can always send questions to myself at marketing@naifa.org. You can always reach out to any of your leaders within NAIFA, et cetera. We'd love to hear from you, and we love to be able to put all of this forward to you and all the kind of showcasing you kind of the work that we've done over the last 133 years, because it's our 133rd this year. So on Valentine's Day, during I Love NAIFA month, let's get going and let's talk about some of the benefits of belonging. And so first and foremost, I'm going to give a little bit of background so we're all on the same page, and just kind of, rip the Band-Aid and say, hey, listen, at the end of the day, when we restructured in January, went into effect January 1st of 2019 from the vote in 2018, we then undertook to really overhaul our brand. And in overhauling our brand, we came across this incredible idea that, what we should do and focus in on the brand is our members. So you are our brand. So first and foremost, every day, certainly, and the reason I'm giving this presentation is I get up every day and I think about how can we make you look good? We want you to get every ounce of value out of that membership fee that you pay us. And we want to say, how can we even do more? Because really, if you do more, then we do more. So your success is our success. And from my perspective, we're in it in a win-win relationship. And we're always looking to see how can we up the ante, right? How do we up our game and just continue to improve on that? So our tagline that we opened up with the new brand is together we can take on anything. And so what that means is, again, in that win-win relationship, right? We are always seeing how we can be additive. So we want to see how we can actually add to your world, and then you can add to the greater body of NAIFA, the association, and where we stand in the industry, right? And how do we up our profile? How do we up your profile? And hopefully you see that flavor throughout everything we're talking about, because I'm going to certainly tell you benefits from the standpoint of how you can utilize these to either gain more business, right? Differentiate yourself in the marketplace, save money, but do more. So all of the benefits are predicated from the how do we do more? So first and foremost, I'm going to give you kind of a little background before we get into kind of some of the kind of new programs. But you're going to see a style now that we introduced again back in probably 2019, 2020. When we talk about our members, there's two things you're always going to see. One, you're always going to see the loyal member sense, because loyalty matters, right? We know that in this business. Loyalty matters. Your word matters. We're a referral business, right? We want to have people within our NAIFA community that we trust, that we want to refer business to, we want to partner with, et cetera. And we feel the same way. So we want to showcase you to the world and show that your loyalty to belonging to your professional association, number one, you don't have to do it. It's voluntary, right? You're doing this because you see value in it. It steps up your game, saying you understand you're part of a bigger industry. And we want to showcase that by showing your loyal member sense. So it's going to show you the date, the year when you first join. Now, listen, I know that we have some people on the call here that have kind of lapsed and come back and ebbed and flowed over the years. If you want to have your original date that you actually joined and you want that to show, you can do that. You can reinstate that date. You can call our member experience team and they can set that up for you. Because some people are like, no, I want to really show, right? Like I had a blip here and I want to be like from 1974 on. Great, we can do that. If you're new and you started it, we love our new members. So you're going to see us proudly say, here's a new member who joined in, 2023. And that's great too. So you're going to see that, and you're going to see a lot of photos of our members, right? The more we can profile you, it's good for you. It's good for us. We love our members. We're very proud of you. You're super marketable people. So we want to be able to do that and basically do that kind of product positioning. And we're using people to do that. So you're always going to see the loyal member since, and then you're also going to see from whence you come. So again, we are Main Street America, we're Main Street USA. So where you're from matters. So we proudly will tell your city and state, right? As we kind of always tell the story of our members. So you're going to see that kind of construct over and over and over again. And of course, that goes into some of the other parts of the brand, which is strong state, strong nation. So Scott Blake is a strong member of Ohio. He participates in the Ohio State Legislative Day. He participates in state advocacy. And then he also belongs to NAIFA as a whole and comes to congressional conference to advocate at the national level too. So you always have those two pieces always of your membership. And then you might have a local, or you might have an affiliate now, because those are booming. And you might have that kind of extra tertiary part of your membership. But the bottom line is already the benefits there is you already have a twofold kind of membership level of, national and then state, and then can have some other local pieces as well, where loyalty matters and where you come from matters. We like to showcase that and always tell that story. So we're always telling the industry the story of you working at the state level and you working at the national level, right? We're always telling our legislators that same piece. So it's a very important element, nuanced, but very critical. So you understand why we do that. So the next piece that everybody should know, but again, it's kind of, a lot of stuff's been lost over the years. Let's face facts, COVID, who remembers 2019? So we're going to just bring it back and make sure we just level set. All members are entitled to use the NAIFA member logo. Please, if you want to plaster it on wallpaper, if you want to wrap gifts in it, people have said, can I get the vector file because I want to print it on a poster? We want to put it in our building. You want to put it on your business card. Anywhere that compliance says that you can put that, yes, yes, and more yes. As a matter of fact, we'll do the artwork. If you want to have NAIFA business cards, or if you want to do that, we'll do the artwork. We'll give it to you. You have to go and print it, but use that NAIFA member logo with pride. So if you haven't done it, feel free to update your LinkedIn profile. Put that you're a member in NAIFA, right? Make sure that you put that on all of your actual business website. Remember that you can use that, and we're all for you using it as much as you want. So again, it's Valentine's Day. If you ever heard me speak, I have a little phrase that's called, there's no such thing as too much love. So feel free to, again, plaster that NAIFA member logo all over the place. We love to see it. And then the last kind of piece I want to do is kind of the philosophical part of this presentation, is just to also kind of make sure that everybody understands that we have a membership promise to you. And again, this came out with a new brand, with the restructure, which is that our membership promise is that you belong to us. You choose to belong to your professional association, that is NAIFA, that we will advocate, educate, and differentiate you. And so therefore, all of the benefits that we have put together and that we continue to build falls into one of these three categories. And that's how we're going to approach the rest of this presentation today. So let's start with talking about advocacy, right? That is our foundation. It is the cornerstone of our organization. I've already kind of talked about that state federal piece of it. So I want to talk about advocacy and looking at it from a different way, because we're going to look at advocacy from the standpoint of what's in it for you as a platform, and how can you utilize advocacy to get more involved so that you can differentiate yourself in the market, right? And do more good work. So let's look at it from that standpoint. So from that one, we introduced something called the Financial Security Advocate Badge. This program, which is now the Financial Security Advocate Academy, we're actually overhauling and relaunching this month. We came out with it about a year and a so ago. And so what that allows you to do is you can go through a really step-by-step process. It's all online. It's driven by you. It's on your time. It's not a Lily class. You don't have to show up at a study group, but you go through it and you go through the modules. And if you go through all the modules, at the end of it, you will be awarded the Financial Security Advocate Badge. So woohoo, maybe you think, what am I going to do with that? Well, we'll talk about what you're going to do with that to promote yourself. But in doing that, what we're also making sure is you understand that you don't have to know squat about advocacy. NAIFA is your home for teaching you that, and we can go ahead and grow you in that grassroots capacity is what it's called, from the very first thing of like, I don't know anything about it, to actually running for office. We are very proud that we have many elected leaders in our NAIFA membership. Sometimes they have to put that on hold for a little bit while they go serve their citizens, but we like to see them back in the fold. And many of them have kind of gotten their start here at NAIFA. So the Financial Security Advocate badge, that program allows you to really jumpstart, and you can look to us as your home for getting set up for success, right? So a lot of times advocacy is like, maybe that's for somebody else. Don't we have people to do that? Don't we have professional lobbyists? Yes, all that's true, but there is nothing like you doing it yourself and having that voice, right? Having that seat at the table, and more so being able to go back to your clients and prospective clients and then other people in the community and talk about your advocacy work, talk about a differentiator. So really being able to delve into that is where I want to kind of take us next. So one of the things we also started doing a couple of years ago is we're very transparent and we like to promote you, as I said. So it's all about promoting you. So the more places we can put you and recognize you, the better. As a matter of fact, I have never had one person text me or phone me or email me to say, Suzanne, stop marketing me. I've never had a NAIFA member say that. Right. So if we're out there and we want to be seen as a trusted resource, right, we need to always be prospecting. So how can we do that? How can NAIFA fit in there? How can your professional association fit into your world to help you do that and make it a little bit easier, give you more avenues, more opportunities to talk to your clients or to prospects? Well, one of the ways we can do that, especially with advocacy, is talking about who's coming. So in this case, we're talking about who's coming to Washington, D.C. for our congressional conference. We proudly post up our who's coming on the website. We do it by state. Right? We're all competitive people on this call. We like to see which states are participating. And our goal, of course, is to have, well, we have one member in every congressional district. When we come to Capitol Hill, we want to make sure we've got one member from every state who's also represented, right? That's a very formidable force when we go to the Hill. So we proudly break down our members all the time by states for different programs. But you'll see that right now, if you go to our congressional conference site, you can see your name, et cetera. It's also a great way, of course, to kind of see who's coming, because that's that other element of belonging to NAIFA, which is we call the NAIFA family element. And you're like, oh, look, Corey Anderson's going to be here from Minnesota, right? I want to see Corey. I haven't seen him since pre-COVID. I want to make sure that I come to congressional conference. So it's a great way to start doing that networking and start to see the same people year over year, especially now that we're back in person. The second piece of the Financial Security Advocate badge and showcasing how you can get highlighted in advocacy is that we actually give a badge. It's an actual digital badge that we deliver through Credly. And Credly is an online accreditation type of tool, piece of software that allows us to kind of say, okay, we deliver it to you. You accept it and you can put it into your LinkedIn profile and other social media. This gives you that kind of proof. It's social proof to say to the rest of the social media world out there that you've done something and you've accomplished this badge. So it's very common to see in certifications and designation world. And we're going to step up our advocacy game and say, we're right there with that, right? It's just as important that we have people who have been schooled and are effective in doing this grassroots piece. And we proudly are going to distribute that and push those out. So if you earn your Financial Security Advocate badge, you're not only in a list of a recognition of all the people who have earned it year to date, but also then you get that badge that gets delivered and you can put it usually primarily on LinkedIn and Facebook. And so we want to take one step further from that and say, okay, well, what good does that do? We want to make sure that we also can show that to consumers. So if you're not aware, another kind of benefit that's come out over the last couple of years is that we have a new consumer site called financialsecurity.org. And on that, we have a Find an Advisor search feature. And you're going to see in a second why these things start to tie together. This consumer site, which has content, a lot of our partners provide information. We talk directly to the consumers. if you're consumer facing, who isn't, and love financial literacy, you could do a webinar on here. You can talk directly from the platform of NAIFA to help to educate consumers. But also that financial security advocate badge will show up in the search. And just as an added bonus, if you see at the bottom, our search of our NAIFA search is also the one that powers the Life Happens platform, as well as Alliance for Lifetime Income. So if you're in annuities, you want to make sure that you get this profile updated, because you're going to come up on the annuity side, which is Alliance for Lifetime Income. And then, of course, on Life Happens. So in that directory we were just talking about, in the Find an Advisor directory, all the listings are based on points. It's all based on meritocracy. This is not a directory by default that's listed by alphabetical order. So just all the A's in the classroom don't get, top billing. It's based on the number, how often you interact with the system. So it's based on, again, your participation. So if you want to be number one and knock off Brian Haney, you certainly can. But the other piece in this directory you'll notice is there's that badge again. So we proudly are showing consumers that this person has earned this financial security advocate badge, and they are protecting you, the consumer. They're advocating for you from Main Street, right? And that is something that advisors can turn into a narrative all day long as they're doing prospecting, as they're talking to their client care calls and whatnot, to talk about their work. So it's not advocacy, this esoteric, don't know how to get to it, very abstract kind of thing. We've taken it and made it very much boots on the ground. This is real marketing for you to have openings for conversations, et cetera, for you to tell your clients, I'm out of the office today because I've gone to Washington, D.C. to protect you, right? Or I've gone to the State House, I've gone to Columbus to go talk to, our elected leaders to make sure that that your wealth is protected. That's a very powerful out of office message, right? We could pair it together with some other materials to even step that up further. But I think you see where I'm going down the path with that. So if you want to say, great, well, how do I step up the game, Suzanne? You keep talking about stepping up the game. Well, if you really want to go for the big time game, you're going to come to Congressional Conference. You're going to make that trip this year, May 22nd and 23rd. We're at the JW Marriott. You're going to make the trip to Capitol Hill so you can really, again, not only do the good work and get prepped and get some awesome experience, but you're going to go for the photos. Let's face facts, right? You're going to go for the recognition, you're going to go for the good work, and you're going to go for the stories and the experience of being with elected leaders and developing those relationships, especially being able to develop that with their staff, being able to see them. And we'd like to see it in Capitol Hill, and then we'll talk about coming back in district. So having NAIFA, having you as an advisor top of mind to an elected official so that when they have a question, you get the call, right? So that's what NAIFA is all about. So again, same type of idea. We proudly list, just like we say, who got the financial security advocate badge, we proudly list who's coming to Washington, D.C., same type of thing. And you'll notice there also the little icon next to it. We're going to get to that in a second, but just kind of tuck that away. So to up our game then in going to Capitol Hill, we're going to equip you with everything you need. Here's the press release template. Why not go ahead and drop it into your local gazette to say that you went to Capitol Hill for all of these reasons, for financial security, to protect Main Street America, to make sure retirement is there, college savings, or, we have pieces for there. We're talking about RMDs, whatever it is, it's going to resonate with your audience. Let's get that out there and let's get you that publicity in your local paper, right? In your local media. Why shouldn't you be the one, the local TV show or the radio or podcast asked to say, hey, I'd like you to come on and be a resource. We're talking about we hear about Secure 2.0. Who can we call? We want them to call you. So we're going to give you those tools now. All those press release templates are there. We'll file them for you. You can file them, etc. And then, like I said, we're going to photograph you, and give you the opportunity to make videos as well, not just to talk about NAIFA, but also videos that you can use and point to your clients, send it all the people that you know, saying, look at me. A 133-year-old institution thought that I was worth it enough to put me onto a video and blast it out to their 14,000 followers, et cetera, or their 78,000 subscribers in their magazine, right? Look what I've done. And we want to give you that little package good so you can take it and send it right down the pipe for prospects, your clients, et cetera, getting into that super positive feedback loop. So all of these events in Capitol Hill, we're going to take photos. We're going to give you opportunities to take your own photos, to post them, right? We're going to talk about how much we use social media now. always the money shot, right? So we make sure that now that we're back and we can go to Capitol Hill and it's open for business, that we get back to taking our big, beautiful group shots, right? So we want to make sure you've got those, you've got professional photos of yourself, et cetera. Because what you really want is not just the group photo in your office, you also want you personally as your advisor, right? Standing there, beautiful DC backdrop, NAIFA pin on, put that right up there, and your clients are like, oh, like, where was that? You're like, oh, that's when I went to, Washington, DC. I go every year to make sure that we're advocating for you. And you can see how the narrative just opens up. Talk about differentiating yourself from the market, right? So no longer, now you're doing something from an altruistic, industry-wide standpoint, protecting Main Street, what's not to love? You can almost hear the Star Spangled Banner and it's red, white, and blue, right? And it's goodness. And so that's really the other piece you get from the advocacy and all that work, is to be able to take that and again, utilize it to set yourself up and set yourself apart from everyone else. Also, of course, it really ties you into the industry and it has a deeper meaning for what you're actually doing in a profession each day. Right. So what we find all the time are the advisors that really get into advocacy, that get there with grassroots, that get into creating those relationships, that make the trip, that put the budget in every year, their own budget to go to Capitol Hill once to twice a year. What they find is that the responses about their depth of their satisfaction with their career, right, with their communities, they're so much better connected. And that's, of course, something that's on a personal front, that's extremely important. And it's also, by the way, while this past month, we had 109 people that celebrated their 50th anniversary at NAIFA, 109, they've been a member for over 50 years. So this is kind of the piece that's the glue and kind of the tie that binds. So aside from that stuff, if you want to say, well, how can I then be up my game even further, Suzanne, right? What are some of the other benefits? Well, if you're going to get into that and you're going to do that, you're going to get pulled into IFA PAC and you're going to understand why NAIFA proudly has the third biggest PAC in the insurance side of the segment. And with IFA PAC comes a whole other opportunity to get name recognition, to get awesome event invitations, et cetera. And of course, you have fun opportunities too, like here, taking your photo at Congressional Conference with our mascot, Victory. So having the cardboard cutout, having your photos, being able to come back and explain it, right? Talk to your peers, et cetera. This is why you're in IFA PAC. This is why you want to be part of that process, making sure that we can get the right candidates who are open and have, a positive attitude towards financial services, or we can get the right candidates so we can educate and we can work with so that we can be able to advocate more effectively. And of course, within the world of IFA PAC, there's then additional levels. So we love, love, love to recognize people in signage, in digital signage, right? We talked about that little badge before. So if you're an IFA PAC defender, you get a little icon anytime your name shows up. So you're going to have your name, little IFA PAC defender, and it shows that you consistently support NAIFA month over month. So we give you a little extra recognition. We do recognition posters at state events. We do recognition posters at our big national events, right? And also you can be part of things like the Congressional Council, and then you can go to nice invitation-only dinners and whatnot, and be part of that crowd that's really making a difference in driving NAIFA forward. So those are some of the additional pieces that you can do if you want to up your game for the promotional part and the big publicity and hang out with awesome people like John Wheeler and whatnot. There's the other side of it, though. And that is, of course, this is that NAIFA family side. So while you have the formal poster, picture, and you're going to show your clients that I went to Capitol Hill, I was at the IFA PAC event, this is what it means, and talk to them about it. There's also the point of when you come together in a meeting at the national meeting, like Congressional Conference, et cetera, you get to see the same people each time, and you get to have fun. And so while you may or may not use this one in the office to your clients, I'll tell you, all of our people love to get together with their NAIFA family and take a lot of fun photos, and they keep those at their desk, maybe facing them, but they talk about it and they talk about what an amazing community they're part of. And of course, that is one of the absolute intrinsic benefits of belonging to NAIFA that we cannot for 1 second say is not a critical factor of what the community affords you. And so one of the nice things about NAIFA is the geographic boundaries only matter when it comes time for, voting and representation and where you fit in your congressional conference, district rather. But when it comes together and everybody, comes, it's like, oh my gosh, this is great. That's why volunteering is so great. You get to meet people throughout the whole country. Right? NAIFA has a culture that is very inclusive and it is very sharing and caring. And so people get together and they love taking tons of photos, right? More photos, the better. Again, I've yet to have anybody say, don't photograph me. So we like to make sure we have professional photographers everywhere we possibly can to capture this, to give it back to you. Right? So we share all the photos. This is not like photos. You're like, I wonder what happened to them. We're like, here's all the photos, right? And people, first thing they do is they start pulling down their photos and sending it to each other. There's a lot of selfies going on. We make it easy to share, et cetera, because we want you to enjoy it. This is your professional association. Belonging is a big piece of it. So the other part we do, and I mentioned kind of previously, is that we coming to Capitol Hill, of course, you're going to take all that goodness, but the other side of it is coming back and utilizing it all year long. So that piece comes at Capitol Hill in May. August comes for in-district meetings. And what we want to make sure is that, again, you have those consistent touch points with your elected leaders. And by the way, remember, one of the benefits is we'll set all this up for you. You don't have to figure out this whole thing. We set the appointments, we set up in-district meetings. You can just say, hey, I just want to be an advocacy ambassador. We'll pull you in, we'll get you all situated because we want to do that in a nice, organized fashion. So in-district meetings is when now your elected leader on the congressional side is back in their district and you have another opportunity in a much more kind of informal way to sit with them and talk. Continuing on that dialogue that is that NAIFA relationship. What we've done here is we've, again, why not have an opportunity to continue to promote you? So what we did is we actually took all of our photos from DC. We had people go around the monuments, et cetera, and then we put them all and customized it for you back into what we call the DC Passport program. So then we then took that. Our members printed it out. When they went again to their in-district meeting, they went, look what I did and when I saw you in May, here's what actually I did. Look at this. This was my trip in May. And then the other people that they're meeting, maybe they're their in-district staff. They're like, wow, that's amazing. And now they're also taking that and they're showing to everybody they can. They're going to the chamber meetings. They're going to their BNI meetings. Or look what I did when I went to Capitol Hill. Here's what I did. And here's how I made a difference in my community. And then, of course, we want that as a piece. And then we take tons of pictures of in district as well. And then what are we going to do? We're going to take that. We're going to put it onto our blog. We're going to put it out in front of our, large subscription base. We're going to put it out on social media, and we're going to continue to market you. So recognizing all the time the work that NAIFA is doing at that state house level, right, at the Capitol Hill level, and being able to get it out to the market. We want you to keep it at home as well, but what's better is having everybody else know that you're doing that, right? So the more we can give you that publicity, put you on that national stage, the better it is for you and us. I told you, win-win relationship. If that's not enough, how do you up the game even more? Well, the best part would be then to volunteer, right? Get involved. And again, our volunteer opportunities are at all levels. And so I'm just showing you kind of some of the national pieces, but we do this at the state as well at the local chapter level as well. And again, we introduced this a couple of years ago, again, showcasing who are the people. So we're always going to use your photo, right? We're going to use as many photos as possible. We don't use stock photos unless we absolutely have to at NAIFA. We don't need to because we have you, right? And all of you have headshots and great photos, et cetera. And so we want to showcase that and we want to give you that recognition. If you're taking your time, treasure, and talent to serve on a committee or a working group at NAIFA, we want to put you on what we call our leader gallery pages, right? Put your name in there as much as we can get, as you say, good for compliance, but give you that recognition, right? Link back to your LinkedIn profile, give you that recognition to say thank you for serving your professional association. And so you'll see this throughout all of our materials now. It's all through our website. It's a big effort each year. We make sure that we recognize those leaders. We put them all together. And again, when you start looking through our leadership at that national, state, local, and you see all the boards and you see all the presidents, right? And you see all the grassroots people, you go, wow, this is a very impressive association. And that's exactly what the companies have been saying. as they start to come back and reinvest in NAIFA. Because when you put us all together, right, it is quite a story. And you see how many people care about this industry, how many people come together to make sure that we're going to get into our 134th year, 135th, et cetera. And it's no wonder that people stay for 50 years longer. So all good things. So this year we had to create new graphics for the 50th anniversary. Good problem to have. So we want to promote that as well. So let's move now and talk about educate, the educate part of the membership promise. This gets into a little bit more of the tangible kind of benefits of NAIFA. We did the hard part first, right? So we did all the abstract part of the advocacy, how you turn that into a benefit for yourself, for your own marketing and your own ability to differentiate yourself and to feel really good and strong and deep about the profession that you've chosen. Let's get into educate and some of the ways that you can actually, again, sharpen that saw if you're a Lilly grad, right? So how do you stay on top of your game? So one of the things that we introduced in January of 2019, right with the new bylaws going into effect, is NAIFA Live. And NAIFA Live has kind of taken some twists and turns through the years as we've navigated COVID together, but my gosh, it is still going strong. And our next NAIFA Live is actually this Thursday. But NAIFA Live we're going to go back to the original design. The original intent was when we had the Quality Member Experience Initiative was to say that no matter where you are in NAIFA, every NAIFA member deserves a quality member experience. So it should not be geographically bound. It shouldn't be based on like if there's a local meeting or not. It shouldn't be like, do you have an affiliate? No, it should be everybody deserves a quality member experience. And we actually were ahead of the Zoom curve. So we introduced doing NAIFA Live, which is a near monthly, basically webinar of a top speaker. So now it's like we've collected, we're using economies of scale to say, how do we bring in a top speaker who we can then have speak to everybody in NAIFA Nation at one time? And so we started down that path, and then the idea was to have this streaming kind of piece of it with a top speaker. And by the way, the top speakers, we've come to get to the formula that really what we should focus in is all the special sauce of NAIFA, the sales and prospecting tips, right? The personal and professional development pieces. That's really that secret sauce that members love about NAIFA. You can get product training anywhere else. You can get CE training different places. This is not that. This is getting the inside kind of better way to think, right? Act, serve, be able to intuit, have those conversations, prospecting tips, et cetera. We bundle that up into one near monthly meeting. We take a couple, time out for congressional conference and whatnot. But that's what NAIFA Live is. And the original construct of NAIFA Live was that not only can I depend on that, and I can get that type of level of education on a monthly basis, virtually or in person, but I can get it on my phone, I can get it on my laptop, or I can sit in a conference room with my agency or firm, or go across town to an agency or firm, and we can watch it together. And then if we are together afterwards, we can either, have more networking, more camaraderie time, et cetera, or tack on a different program. That was the original construct. And I am happy to say we are back to having watch parties in 2023, which is amazing because it allows us to get back to having that idea of having that local or affiliate meeting. And now they're wrapping them around NAIFA Live. So they're saying, hey, here's NAIFA Live. That takes up our educational component. And then afterwards, we might have an additional thing, we'll have discussion, et cetera, and get together. And it's a very quick, nobody has to kind of figure out and do like, hey, do I have a guy? Do I know somebody? No, it's done. Wonderful speakers. These are top speakers. Many of them are top of the table, MDRT level speakers that are coming in because they're going to talk to all of NAIFA Nation. So it's kind of one time a month that we have the opportunity also to hear from our CEO, get a membership message, right? And then get this type of level of education, all part of your membership fees, no additional money, et cetera. But then also giving the chapters, affiliates, et cetera, that creativity to say, what else do we want to wrap it around? And what's exciting now is to see what different organizations out there have decided to do. So we're starting to see it bundled with happy hours or bundled with coffee. If you're, maybe on the West Coast in a different time zone, people starting to say, hey, we're going to do that. And then we're going to take a walk. We've seen yacht hikes. We've seen all sorts of creative stuff. Have the NAIFA Live, then have a study group, NAIFA Live, and then a Lilly class. So there's all sorts of combinations out there that's structured around NAIFA Live. And so I think that NAIFA Live is, we're seeing the numbers just really radically increase. And then also what people are doing now, and this was the original intent, it's a great opportunity if you are having a live event and holding in person, that you can invite non-members in and be able to experience the real part of NAIFA, the NAIFA family part, the sales and marketing part, the part that somebody's not going to let you, fail out of the business part. And that's kind of the secret sauce then of NAIFA Live. So if you have not ever taken NAIFA Live or gone to one of the sessions, put it on the to-do list. We have almost everyone recorded from 2019 on. They're still awesome because none of them are time sensitive. These are evergreen topics. We keep all those. And again, if you can't do it that day on a Thursday at 2 or 3 o'clock, whatever it is, that's okay, because we keep everything on demand and you can stream it when you do have time. You just want to listen to it, no problem, right? You can do that too. So it's really, we're really ahead of the curve in doing this, but we're delighted to see we're back to kind of having that and having an opportunity for people to come and actually gather together like human to human, not just Zoom. Another benefit we introduced during the pandemic, and so again, you may or may not know about it, is WebCE. So we partnered with WebCE, and what WebCE has put together for us is a really interesting mix of the classes and the courses that you can take and the continuing education programs within kind of the NAIFA mix. So we have a specific page. We get all of our NAIFA members get a discount there. You got to check out. So you're going to check through the whole process and you'll see your NAIFA discount at the end. But what we wanted to make sure also when WebCE put together our course selection, we have everything from pre-licensing all the way through firm element. And a lot of people are really surprised at the breadth of offerings that we have. And of course, it covers all 50 states. So you might be surprised to know that you can go in there and do some of the cybersecurity pieces, right? There's stuff in there about anti-money laundering. There's stuff in there in sexual harassment. There's stuff in there on diversity. There's stuff in there in just your regular nuts and bolts kind of insurance CE that you need. So all of that is in there for you to explore and have a significant discount through that. And by the way, if you don't see something, we're great partners with WebCE. So tell us and we can see if that's something we can add. And I should say that all the time, this is a relationship here, right? This is a two-way street, like we keep saying. It's a win-win. So if you see something that, or you don't see something in the benefits package, please let us know and we'll see what we can go do. At this point, we're kind of, think of me as one of your personal shoppers. We're going to go out there and we're going to see if we can get that partnership going, if it's going to benefit you. Another program that we rolled out during the pandemic is we were chosen actually as one of the 4 to 5 distribution partners for AARP for a very specific program called BankSafe. So regardless how you feel about AARP, or if you have some competitive products, this is still a program that you can utilize. It is free for us. It's free for members. You go through, it's on spotting financial exploitation in seniors. So once again, you go through their course, you get basically a badge to say that you have been trained in this. And you can, again, if you work with that, if that's the population and your clientele, that's something you absolutely would want to let them know that you have been trained through the AARP BankSafe program. You could also do that for your entire firm or agency. So the whole firm or agency can be designated as having gone through, excuse me, the AARP BankSafe program. Again, all of this is in the member portal. I'm just highlighting it to you. During the pandemic, you might have missed those too. We blasted out. We completely blew up and really expanded our partner channel. We have been actively partnering and bringing in new content and thought leadership, et cetera, as we created these centers of excellence. So if you're not aware of the centers of excellence, we're going to talk about it in a second, but just know that we have an entire slew of partners that are out there. We proudly show their logos, and all these partners have said, we want to know NAIFA members, right? You can look to them as part of your network for problem solving, for maybe working cases through, right? For being able to say, hey, do you have resources here? I'm interested in this. Who do you know? Every one of these partners would be delighted to have a NAIFA member say, hey, I want to understand more about what you do. I want to see how that can fit into my portfolio. I want to see how I can make more money with you. Whatever the case is, they've all raised their hand and said, we believe in NAIFA, we believe in the members, right? And we want to know you. So think about that when you're looking at those sponsor logos. It's not just them saying, hi, we support NAIFA, it's saying we want to be open to a relationship with members. Here we are, give us a call. And so in doing that, the large portion of these new sponsors and partners have come through the centers of excellence. We rolled out our first center of excellence, which was the Limited and Extended Care Planning Center. We rolled that out in March of 2019. And so then throughout the pandemic, didn't slow us down. We just continue to open up these centers. And each of the centers, as you can see on the screen, has kind of its own area. But what the centers do for you as a whole, as a member, like what's the benefit to you? Well, one, like I said, new people to do business with. Two, new possible solutions that you can utilize for your practice. Three, if this is your practice area, then this is an area that you can also get involved in. And what I mean by that, you might want to actually be part of the advisory council. You might want to write for the center and get published in the center. You might want to do a webinar and speak for the center. You might want to do social media and get tied into that. So again, centers are a good way for members to also, again, take your personal brand, right? Tie it to an institution that's a neutral institution, right? Saying, hey, this has a lot of, the institution has credibility, has authenticity, has longevity. And tie your two things together. So it increases your legitimacy, right? It increases your authority, your social proof, and also really expands how much you can market yourself. So if it's great that maybe you're already doing a blog or you're doing a podcast and you're already doing, let's say you've got 5,000 followers, that's amazing, right? But what if you can take that same piece and get republished through the Business Performance Center? Instead of 5,000, you just said 5,000 plus, let's say NAIFA's 14,000 or whatever the case might be. If you can take something and you decide, yeah, I want to be a writer with that, I want to be a thought leader in that. Well, what does that tell you when you say to your clients, hey, I just got published in this particular center? It's a national level institution, 133 years old, right? Thought leadership all the way. Not here, but what does that do? It doesn't take a lot to understand, wow, this is somebody that is a trusted resource, right? Ups your game. You understand how that works. So you can see why being part of the centers, being part of discussion groups, right? Being active in them, that's part of what you're doing. Our newest one is the Executive and Employee Benefits Center. So if you're involved in that, you might want to say, hey, listen, that's my area of practice. Or you might also say, you know what, I don't do that part of my practice. I really would like to get a partner on the P&C side, or I really need a partner in advanced markets. Who can I partner with? Well, the center has a whole group of people who are saying, hello, we'd love to know you. Let's partner together, right? And it allows us to do more within the NAIFA family. So those are some of the benefits there. Another benefit that we've just come out with is part of the Business Performance Center is called the Coaches Circle. We've always had coaches within our membership community. You know, you maybe seen them throughout this time. We've kind of bundled them up to say, listen, you are a very valued part of our membership. You're an industry professional, not a producer, but you're not going to be national president, but you're an industry professional. You're part of our NAIFA economy. You're a very critical part, and we want to recognize you as such. And these coaches, of course, want to coach you, and they want to coach NAIFA as a whole. They're trying to grow their reputation, their brand, et cetera. So we brought it together and said, why don't we just create a program? So these three coaches right off the bat, Deirdre Van Ness, Joe Templin, and Dan Finley, have said, listen, we will give NAIFA content, we'll give NAIFA additional thought leadership that other people pay for. We'll give it to NAIFA as a benefit. And then again, if members want to get personal coaching or small group coaching, et cetera, then we'll do that at a preferred rate. So the Coaches Circle is something also, another way that we just kind of packaged up, but put together something that's very tangible for you to utilize, and then get you some free, again, resources that is just part and parcel of your membership. So you can, again, do what? Be better, up the game, constantly trying to up the game. So let's talk about the third part now of the membership promise, which is everybody's favorite part, which is differentiate. And hopefully I've been talking about how we differentiate throughout the rest of the advocacy world and education world. We want our advisors to be the best. Let's just say it. We want our advisors to be the best, right? The work we do, we all believe in it. We want Main Street America to have as much protection as possible. And that means we're empowering you. So again, let's talk about differentiate and how we can up the game. So we're all about promoting yourself. You've heard me talk about it the whole time. So one of the win-wins is social media. As the SEC has changed and updated and modernized some of their rules, a lot of people are now in the social media game, maybe for the first time, finally feel like they're allowed to do that. Or maybe you've always been doing that and you're a complete maven. Any of those scenarios, we can create a win-win in social media. So NAIFA, of course, on the financial advisor side, we have many channels. And then we also have a whole set on the consumer side. If you're really consumer focused, we can talk offline, but we've got a whole set there. We can promote you within the consumer arena. On this area, this is all about now you being a rock star in the industry, right? And again, you being able to either take the posts you're already doing and get it elevated into our followers, right? Or vice versa. And the easiest way to do that is you're going to use the hashtag NAIFA proud, NAIFA all caps, please, and then proud. That allows the NAIFA to stand out when we see it. But what that allows us to do at the national level is we can kind of canvas all of social media and we can find you easily, even if we're not already following each other, right? And so where this really makes a huge impact is Twitter and LinkedIn for sure, right? And being able to say that. So if you say, hey, look, I just went and first time I ever went to my state legislative day, had a great time, went to Virginia, et cetera. Here's my picture. And you put a hashtag NAIFA proud. We're over here going, oh my gosh, this is great. Look at this, right? What a great story. How do we promote the story? We're going to elevate that, repost it to all of our followers, right? Tag you, name drop you. The more we do that, hopefully we're seeing win-win. That's a win-win for all of us. We're doing as much people placement and showcasing and shining the light on you as possible. You show us some of the love too. That's great. That's why I love NAIFA month this month. We love it. It gives us an opportunity to get out on social media. And again, a lot of our members, that's okay. You're new to social media, no problem. If we can bring you in, we can do some training there too, but it's a huge way, of course, for us to celebrate our members and whatnot. And of course, on the legislative side, Twitter is really that channel. So being able to showcase our members as these trusted resources, showing the work you're doing in the community, showing the work you're doing to advocate for Main Street USA, right? And then that interaction, well, there's really no bad part of that. So we're seeing how do we get you out into the world of media as much as possible? Another kind of fun fact you might not know is that we do member spotlights all the time. And you would think that our phones would be blowing up and people would knocking down my door saying, Suzanne, I want to do a member spotlight because we just said our members love publicity. And what this means is you just raise your hand and say, I'd like to be spotlighted. I'm doing something in the community. I've got a story. And we'll have one of our professional writers on staff call you up, do an interview. We'll write the story. We'll get your headshot. We'll put it all together. You approve it. And then we'll put it out there on our Advisor Today blog. That has over 78,000 subscribers. Okay. So you might get that might be a good thing for you, but we want to tell that story, right? Our job is to tell your story. You just have to come to us and make that connection. So help me help you. But member spotlights of all the content we do at NAIFA, which is a lot, number one, most read content is member spotlight because we love to see each other do well, right? And we like to see who's doing what. We all have fear of missing out. We all want to do our best. So it's a good way for us to keep upping our game. So feel free to take advantage of that. Another way you can do that, and again, a lot of people are not aware, is that in the end of 2020, we introduced a new program called the 100% Agency and the Financial Security Champion. These are group programs at that firm or agency level. But once your firm, your agency says, I'm all in, you get this actual additional logo. You get that additional logo. You actually get a welcome kit. There's nice little pieces there like clocks and whatnot for your office. But we really say, look, you're a special group because at the group level now, you said, I'm all in for NAIFA. By the way, we put you on that consumer side. So on the financialsecurity.org site, there is a whole section called supporters, and we proudly list all the logos of our firms and agencies that said, I want everybody in my firm and agency to be a member of NAIFA. And again, we have memberships for administrative professionals, right? Or it could be your claims people, could be, you have maybe you have a CPA or an attorney. We have an agency who like half of their side is the estate planning. The other side is financial planning. They're all 100% because some of them are industry professionals. They're not producers and some of them are producers. So we can find a mix that'll fit there. But what we do is we take that as an additional opportunity to recognize you and promote you. just like with the member profile, once you say my agency's in, we do a full-blown interview with you. We publish an advisor today. We give you kind of a framed mock-up. It looks like you're on the cover of the magazine, so you can proudly print that out and put it at your agency and put it on the wall, etc. And you get some extra kind of additional benefits as well. So those are kind of some of the things that were new that we put out there to make it, again, appealing for the agency or the firm as a whole to say, hey, there's a huge marketing opportunity for me as well, or our firm. And then how can we further differentiate ourselves in the market? And so just today, as a matter of fact, our first 100% agency is the Fortis agency out in New Jersey. And one of their people posted something on LinkedIn. I saw it, reposted it, right? Not only gave him credit, but then said, hey, this is the Fortis agency, our first 100% agency. So kind of getting those trails, if you will, of just goodness all the way to continuously market those groups that say we're all in. Moving over to, again, just more and more publicity. So I mentioned our Advisor Today blog. This is the one with the close to 78,000 now subscribers to it. You can be a contributor to this. So a lot of people are not aware. I mean, only members, by the way, can do this. So I won't just take anybody, but members can say, listen, I have something, I want to have basically a column. I want to regularly commit to contributing content to Advisor Today blog. Fantastic. The same is true for the centers. Why would we not want to say, please use the platform that we have? This is to help, do, again, educate others, right? Advocate over there and help differentiate yourself. So yes, and more yes. So think about that, contributing to that, getting a column going, being a regular that we're always following on social media and whatnot is something you can do. Also, right during the end, right pre-pandemic, about the fall of 2019, Advisor Today it used to be, as you know, a print magazine. And then for about 6 or 7 years, it went completely digital. And I think people just thought they weren't getting it anymore. But it went digital for a couple of years. And then we actually brought it back in print, which is something that most associations don't have the kind of the ability to do. It was really fortuitous we were able to do this. And thank you for everyone who loves getting now the magazine back in print. One of the things we did, though, is we changed it to be exclusively only for members, and we only really talk about members in the magazine, and we promote members. So it's like the yearbook, the showcase pony, right, of membership. And we make sure that we keep that, because that should be the highest honor of being in the print magazine, right? And again, it's not going to be product sales, it's not other stuff. It's really the people that we want to tell that story of who's doing the greatest work out there, the highest recognition. So we have an entire issue that should be hitting your mailboxes by the end of this month. That's all about really celebrating our National Leadership Conference and all the award winners and whatnot. But we're going to stick to that. We're going to stick to our knitting for what the magazine is about. And so we keep it we keep it small. We also kind of limit it to some extent. And we always make sure, if you haven't seen this, we report on the same things every time. We talk about our advocacy programs, federal, interstate, state. We always have a story from the centers, each one of the centers. We always have something on Lily. We always have something on Yat, right? And we always recognize a chapter. Those are consistent features each and every time that we're doing that. But we're telling the lifestyle story now of the advisor. And with that, last July, we added in a podcast to go with all this, as well as some webinars. But the podcast in particular is a great way to get featured. And we had no idea it was going to take off. I mean, it is really popular. And it's because I think we stick to talking to advisors, talking to our members only, talking to our members about what they're doing and what work they're doing in the community. And again, if the content for members reading about members is the most popular, well, members listening about other members is even more popular, because I think everybody's doing it while they're taking walks, right? While they're at the gym, they have some shield time, etc. So if you want to be on the podcast, if you've got a good story, if you have a podcast, let's get together, let's link that up there, because that's another thing. Why don't we bundle up everybody in our membership who's written a book or on a podcast or has videos, because it's a ton. Let's get that together and let's showcase our collective body of work. And then finally, in the differentiate yourself kind of realm, of course, we have all of the awards that I kind of just previously mentioned. We bundled all the awards together now. We now, for the second time, have given them out at the National Leadership Conference. We make a big to-do about it. and whatnot. So one of them, if you're not familiar, is the NAIFA Quality Award. And so only members can hold this. Same like we just talked about before, you actually get an actual badge for it, shows up in the consumer directory. You get a certificate that you can frame and whatnot, and it tells the consumer that you are somebody who is practicing using quality. And here you can say this is a second badge that shows up on the consumer Find an Advisor. So we're very proud of that. And we have so many quality awards. We have a database for them. So the new one was released, right? So if you've never gotten the NAIFA Quality Award, think about it. We've got a press release template, same thing. Drop it in the local paper, put it on social media, tell your prospective clients, right? You can talk about what this thing is, showcase it to them, put it into your materials. Again, putting that hallmark that you are an advisor that has an extra piece of quality of care that you show in your business practice. So again, back to the magazine, back to kind of what's the biggest thing you can do? How do you go big? Well, winning those big national awards, of course, you're going to get a full page spread. So here is the second annual Terry Headley Lifetime Defender Award. Robert Miller received that. We did a full page spread of him. We took tons and tons of photos, right? He's on our homepage and whatnot. So you're going to get the highest recognition that you possibly can. Jeff Chernoff is our current reigning 2022 Young Advisor Team Leader of the Year. Our 4 under 40 winners from the Advisor Today magazine that gives those out, they're there. They're all through this, spoiler alert, but this edition of I Love NAIFA, they're all in there. We're going to give them the highest honor, the biggest recognition, give that time, have time to talk, and have any extra bonus content on the blog as well. Okay. And then again, this is the Belong event. So this is the swank event here of National Leadership Conference. So again, as you talk about best way to differentiate yourself, well, having photos at this little shindig would be a good one, right? Being able to say I went here and I was actually took my kind of oath of office with all the other state presidents. I took my oath of office and I got together with all the other grassroots chairs. That's a pretty cool story. And again, there's really no higher honor or higher part of differentiating yourself at NAIFA, of course, than volunteering and being a leader. And so we, again, are going to reward and recognize and showcase and spotlight this as much as possible. By the way, one of the things we do, you might not be aware of, is if you win one of those awards at that national level, we actually will ask you, who do you want us to tell, right? And it could be, and we've had people say, I wanted everybody from my high school principal to like, the overall associate, like a Boy Scout association. I want to tell my CEO of my broker dealer, right? I want to tell, my grandmother, my sister, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. You give us a list. We will send them a letter from the CEO and president saying this person has been awarded this piece of it, because that's, again, win, win, win. And again, some of the most touching moments have been when we have sent letters to things like the high school or your college, et cetera, or your fraternity or sorority. And they're so excited. And then what do? They say, hey, look at our person. They just won this in their professional association. So more opportunities there. So here's our flag ceremony at the National Leadership Conference. Another kind of benefit of belonging, being able to be that person that holds and represents your state, typically the state president, but again, a real point of pride to be able to the flag bearer and you represent your entire state. Okay. Same thing. Here's our national trustees all being installed into office. And again, what a great opportunity. There's typically not a dry eye. Everybody's very emotional because you're standing up to serve and give that time and attention. And we want to give that back to you. So again, we're going to take every opportunity we can to thank you, reward you, recognize you for that level of service. And that's at all of the areas. So again, back to our leader galleries. So last thing I want to do is finishing up is talking about powering your practice. And this is the most practical part of the entire presentation. So we did something just in this month. We've had this partner named Chalice Network. They've changed name. They're now Chalice Connect. They have a marketplace. And what we did to make life simple is we took all of our different pages in our member portal of different benefits, et cetera, and we put them all into the marketplace. So it's one place for you to go to. So within the marketplace now, you're going to find a lot of old favorites, right? But you're also going to see an expanded whole set of affinity partners or discount partners where you can get tools and services for your practice. So they have everything in there from software. You can see all the different solution types. They have compliance pieces, they have investment, they have some lifestyle stuff. There's travel benefits in there. There's marketing pieces. If you want to get through Snappy Kraken or Reminder Media, it's all bundled in there. And so this is like a new benefit hub, if you will, for you to go to really see what you might want to be missing. And so that's there. And then the second piece that's new and we put into the benefits marketplace there is something called Trav Now. And I just want to introduce that because, again, it came out during COVID. During last year, it was a little bit of a crazy time, I think, and you might have missed it. But what Trav Now gives you is a $500 basically voucher card to use in booking hotels through their site. It's very competitive. You can look at that in Expedia. As a matter of fact, they have a price match guarantee. So if you're a frequent traveler, which most NAIFA members are, whether personal or for the business, look at that Trav Now card because you can get really significant savings on that. So all of that, again, is bundled into that benefit marketplace. I want to remind everybody, it is Insure Your Love Month. Our big partner at Life Happens, we love them, but you might not know they have their own marketing automation platform. 20% off is due to members for being a part of NAIFA. So it's something that you might want to consider as well. And then again, long-standing favorites, I just want to make sure they get their due. CalSurance. Most everybody knows that you can get your E&O insurance. A lot of people don't know you can actually also get that for your agency. So if you need that, you can also look to CalSurance. And then Kelsey has been a longtime partner, giving us dental health and also disability insurance. So a lot of our members are very excited that they can actually get covered for disability through Kelsey and couldn't get that anywhere else. Another longtime partner that you might not be aware of is CopyTalk. CopyTalk has had kind of a resurgence out there in the world. And CopyTalk is when you can talk into the phone and a real transcriptionist, not Chat GPT, a real person is going to transcribe your notes for you and give you all that documentation that you need. Again, a nice significant discount for any NAIFA members. And lastly, these are some that I just want to bring top of mind. We have a lot of technology partners that if you come through the portal, you can get that additional NAIFA discount for some of these technology pieces. So you need a new washer and dryer, you know, NAIFA's looking out, we've got your back, the GE appliance store, Zoom, Lenovo, and whatnot. Finally, didn't see something you need. Let me know, right? Let us know. Tell us at marketing.naifa.org. Tell your chapter president, tell your membership chair, tell somebody, let's get it trickled back over here. And we can go out. And like I said, we've got 20,000 people that we're taking care of here. So it's a pretty nice way to say most organizations want to partner with us and find a way to do so, especially to get to our financial advisors and agents. So if you don't see something, please feel free to drop a note at marketing.naifa.org. And also just last pitch, if this was, you know, if you said, wow, this is so much, I had no idea NAIFA did all this, which is typically what we hear. Remember that we do have member orientation, and we can just call it benefit orientation every Monday at 3:00. Every Monday. You don't have to be new. You want a refresher. You want to send somebody through that. Just know that you can do that. The last thing I'm going to say is that our member portal, it's at members.naifa.org. It's getting an overhaul. So you're going to see a whole refreshed look. That's why we didn't do a ton of screenshots in here, because the new one is coming out this month. So we're excited for that. We thank all of our volunteers who are part of putting that redesign in place. And with that, I'm going to say again, thank you. Happy Valentine's Day. Together we can take on anything. Don't be a stranger. Win-win relationship. And thanks for being part of NAIFA.